The elevator doors slid open on the 42nd floor of the glass monolith that was Harlan and Associates, and there I was, Michael Harlan, or so they thought, stepping out into a world that wasn't mine, my heart pounding like a gavel about to crack. I just kissed my reflection goodbye in the lobby mirror, smudging on that godforsaken cologne that smelled like success and secrets, but as I straightened my tie, a voice from the shadows of my soul whispered, "This is the last lie you'll ever tell." Except it wasn't. And then, like a thunderclap in a boardroom, Alex Rivers turned the corner. His blue eyes locking onto mine with that effortless intensity that made the whole damn firm feel like it was holding its breath. "Michael, you look like hell," Alex said, his voice low and laced with that New York edge, half concern, half challenge. As he clapped a hand on my shoulder, his touch lingering just a beat too long, sending a jolt straight through me that had nothing to do with caffeine withdrawal. I forced a grin, the one Michael had perfected over years of depositions and double crosses. But inside, Christopher Harlan was unraveling, thread by guilty thread. It started 3 weeks ago, in the dim glow of a Brooklyn brownstone that Michael and I had shared since we were kids, scraping by on Mom's diner tips and Dad's ghost of a presence. Gone before we could walk. Twins, identical down to the crooked scar on our left knuckles from that dumbass tree-climbing bet at 12. But where Michael chased the spotlight, I hid in the wings, sketching urban decay in my notebooks while he buried himself in law books, clawing his way to partner at Harlan and Associates before he even hit 30. "You're the smart one, Chris," he'd say, ruffling my hair like we were still boys. "But me? I'm the shark." The call came at 2 a.m., his voice a rasp over the line from some ER in Manhattan. "Car accident. Don't freak. Just cover for me at the firm. 2 weeks, tops. The Sterling merger's on the line, lose that and I'm done." A drunk driver, a slick rain-slick street, and suddenly Michael's world of power suits and power plays was mine to impersonate. I said yes because that's what twins do. We bleed for each other. But as I slipped into his closet that dawn, pulling on his crisp white shirt that smelled like him, sandalwood and ambition, I felt the first crack in the facade. This wasn't just a favor. It was a theft. The firm was a beast, all marble floors and egos sharper than switchblades, perched in Midtown like it owned the skyline. Harlan and Associates specialized in corporate litigation, the kind where fortunes flipped on a technicality and men like Michael thrived on the adrenaline of betrayal. My first day, his first day back, supposedly, I navigated the bullpen with a memorized script. Nods to paralegals, a firm handshake with the senior partners who eyed me like fresh meat. But it was Alex who derailed everything from the jump. Alexander Rivers. Rising star, openly gay in a firm that pretended tolerance like it was a tax write-off, with a jaw carved from marble and eyes the color of a stormy Long Island Sound. He was Michael's rival and reluctant ally on the Sterling case, a multi-billion-dollar merger between a tech giant and a pharma behemoth that could make or break careers. "Rivers is a pit bull," Michael had warned over late-night whiskey sessions. "Don't let him smell blood." But when Alex sauntered into the conference room that morning, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms corded from weekend rock climbing in the gunks, he didn't smell blood. He smelled like rain on concrete and something dangerously alive. "Harlan," he drawled, tossing a file across the table. "You gonna pull your head out of your ass and actually contribute, or do I have to carry this dog and pony show solo?" The room chuckled. Nervous, obligatory. And I fired back with Michael's patented sarcasm. "Only if you admit your briefs are as tight as your arguments." It landed, drawing a bark of laughter from Alex that lit up his face, crinkling the corners of those eyes. In that moment, as our gazes held across the polished oak, I wasn't Michael. I was Christopher, the quiet artist who'd always loved from afar. And the spark? It was instant, illicit, like sketching nudes in a cathedral. The days blurred into a high-wire act. Mornings started with frantic calls to Michael in his rehab bed upstate, him dictating emails while I paced our apartment, mimicking his cadence in front of the mirror. "Deeper voice, Chris. Sound like you mean it." Afternoons were depositions where I'd bluff through legalese, heart in my throat, praying no one noticed how my hands shook when I signed Michael Harlan with his flourish. Evenings? Stolen moments in the firm's rooftop lounge, where the city sprawled out like a lover's promise, and Alex would corner me with questions that cut too close. "You're different lately," he'd say one night, nursing a scotch as the Empire State Building blinked hello across the way. We were alone, the after-hours hush wrapping around us like fog off the Hudson. Looser, like you've got secrets worth keeping. I laughed it off, clinking glasses, but his knee brushed mine under the high-top table, and the air thickened. Secrets are what keep this job interesting, I replied, channeling Michael's bravado. But Christopher wanted to spill. I'm not him. I'm the shadow, the one who draws your face in charcoal when the lights go out. Instead, I held back, and that night, alone in Michael's bed, our bed, I touched myself to the memory of his touch, guilt twisting like a knife. It escalated on a Thursday, rain lashing the windows like it was auditioning for the apocalypse. The Sterling team was pulling an all-nighter, pizza boxes piling up like casualties. Alex and I were holed up in his office, poring over contracts that swam before my eyes from exhaustion. Here, he said, leaning over my shoulder, his breath warm on my neck. This clause, it's a Trojan horse. Pharma's hiding R&D skeletons. Our hands brushed on the page, and neither pulled away. The room hummed with the storm, thunder rumbling like a bass line to my pulse. He turned my chair, slow, deliberate, until we were face to face, his tie askew, lips parted. Michael, he murmured, and it was the first time he'd said the name like a confession, not a challenge. Then he kissed me. Fierce, hungry, tasting of black coffee and unspoken wants. I kissed back, drowning in it, my fingers tangling in his damp hair as lightning cracked outside. It was everything. The rush of forbidden fruit, the ache of authenticity in a lie. We didn't stop until the door buzzer jolted us apart, a janitor's warning about the storm surge. To be continued, Alex whispered, his thumb tracing my jaw, and I nodded, breathless, already addicted. But lies have half-lives, and mine was decaying fast. Michael texted that weekend. Doc say another week. Hold the line. I spent Saturday wandering the village, sketching street musicians under umbrellas, trying to capture Alex's profile from memory. The curve of his smirk, the way his lashes cast shadows. Sunday, I met him for brunch at this hole-in-the-wall in Chelsea. All exposed brick and bottomless mimosas. You're full of surprises, Harlan, he said, feeding me a forkful of eggs Benedict, his foot hooking mine under the table. We talked, not shop talk, but real. His coming out in a Bible Belt family that still sent passive-aggressive Christmas cards. My Michael's? Fabricated tales of frat house hookups that hid my own truths. You're out here owning it, I said, meaning it for him, for the bravery I'd never mustered. Makes the rest of us look like cowards. He shrugged, but his eyes softened. Cowardice is a choice. So's courage. Later, in his loft overlooking the High Line, exposed beams, abstract prints on the walls, we made love for the first time. Slow at first, exploratory, his hands mapping my body like it was evidence in a case. Then urgent, bodies slick and urgent against the sheets. His whispers in my ear. God, Michael, you feel like home. I came undone, tears pricking because it was the closest I'd ever been to real, even in fraud. By week 2, the charade was fraying. Whispers in the break room. Harlan's off his game. A junior associate caught me staring at Michael's desk photo. Us at graduation, arms slung around each other, and asked if I was okay. Alex, though? He pulled me closer. Late nights turned to sleepovers, his head on my chest as Manhattan's sirens wailed lullabies. I think I'm falling for you, he admitted one dawn, fingers tracing the scar on my knuckle. The real you, not the shark. Panic clawed up my throat. The real me is the fake. But I held him, whispering lies that felt like truths, and in those stolen hours, Christopher bloomed. Laughing at his dumb puns, sketching him asleep, loving without armor. The crack came on a crisp October Friday, leaves skittering like confetti down Park Avenue. Michael called. I'm coming back Monday. Merger's yours, well, mine. Oh, you bro relief ward with dread. How to end it? Ghost Alex? Confess and watch it shatter? I decided on half measures. A quiet weekend, then fade. But fate, that cruel director, had other scripts. That afternoon, in the midst of final Sterling prep, the conference room doors burst open. Michael, real Michael, stood there, cane in hand, grin wide as the Hudson. Miss me, team? Let's close this bitch. The room erupted in cheers, slaps on the back. Alex clapped him on the shoulder, confusion flickering. Wait, Michael? You're back early. Michael laughed, pulling me into a bear hug that smelled of hospital antiseptic. Yeah, Doc cleared me. My brother's been holding down the fort. Best damn stand-in ever. He ruffled my hair, oblivious, but the words hung. Stand-in. Faces turned. Alex's eyes narrowed, darting between us. The identical twins, one limping, one frozen. The air sucked out, vacuum-sealed. Your brother, Alex echoed, voice flat as a verdict. Michael blinked, piecing it. Chris? Yeah, he looks just like, oh shit. It was out. The hook yanked free and the line snapped. The silence in that conference room stretched like taffy, sticky and suffocating. Every eye a scalpel dissecting the scene. Michael, still gripping my arm, released it slowly, his face cycling through confusion to horror as the dominoes toppled in his mind. Chris? I meant cover the calls, not impersonate me? His voice cracked, not angry yet, but laced with that twin betrayal we both knew too well from childhood pranks gone nuclear. I couldn't look at him, couldn't look at anyone. My gaze locked on the floor, on the scuff mark from some forgotten heel, while the partners murmured like a jury convening. Alex, God, Alex, stood statue still, his face a mask of calculated calm, the kind he wore in cross-examinations when the witness was perjuring through their teeth. But his eyes, they burned, blue fire boring into me, demanding answers I wasn't ready to give. Everyone, take 5, senior partner Harlan. No relation, thank God, just a cruel cosmic joke. Barked, herding the team out with promises of explanations later. The door clicked shut, leaving the 4 of us. Me, Michael, Alex, and the ghost of trust evaporating like steam off the coffee urn. Michael rounded on me first, cane thumping the carpet. You lost your mind? This is my career, Chris. Forgery, ethics violations. They could disbar me retroactively. His words stung, not because they were wrong, but because they were right, and deeper still, because they echoed the self-loathing I'd buried under Alex's touch. I did it for you, I whispered, finally meeting his eyes, mirrors of my own wide with shock. You begged me. The merger, your job. I couldn't let it tank. He deflated, rubbing his temple, the fight leaching out as exhaustion won. Jesus. Yeah, but this? Pretending to be me? With them. His glance flicked to Alex, then away, guilty. Alex hadn't moved. He leaned against the table, arms crossed, that storm in his eyes brewing to hurricane. So, which parts were real? His voice was velvet over steel, each syllable a deposition question. The late nights? The rooftop talks? That loft in my bed? My chest caved. All of it? I choked out, stepping forward, desperate to bridge the chasm. The feelings, those were mine, Alex. Christopher's. Not his. He laughed, bitter and broken, pushing off the table. Christopher. Cute. So I fucked the understudy. The word landed like a slap, vulgar in its precision, and I flinched. Michael tensed, but Alex wasn't done. How long have you been playing me? Was it a game? Get the straight-laced lawyer to drop his guard. No! The denial ripped from me, raw and ragged. I grabbed his arm, the sleeve of his shirt still rumpled from our morning tussle. This morning, when he'd woken me with kisses and coffee, murmuring about weekend getaways to the Berkshires. It started as a favor. But you, God, Alex, you saw through the cracks. You made me want to be real. He wrenched free, but not before I saw the fracture in his composure. The way his lip trembled, the flush creeping up his neck. Real? You lied to my face every goddamn day. Shared my bed under false pretenses. That's not romance, that's fraud. He turned to Michael, voice icing over. And you knew about this? Sanctioned it? Michael shook his head, vehement. Hell no. I thought he was just fielding emails. This is on him. The accusation hung, a noose tightening. Michael's eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw not brotherhood, but resentment. The twin bond stretched to snapping. You crossed a line, Chris. This isn't some art school prank. I know, I whispered, backing toward the door, the weight of it all crashing down. The partners would convene, HR would circle like vultures. My borrowed life was forfeit. I'm sorry. To both of you. Alex's hand shot out, fingers brushing my wrist. Not grabbing, but close enough to spark memory. Don't, he said, softer now, conflicted. Just go. Before I say something I can't take back. I fled. Down the emergency stairs, 30 flights of echoing footfalls, bursting onto 42nd Street where the autumn wind whipped like judgment. Cabs honked, pedestrians blurred. But I wandered aimlessly, ending up in Central Park as dusk bled into night. Bethesda fountain loomed, angel wings mocking my fall, and I sank onto a bench, head in hands, the scar on my knuckle throbbing like accusation. Hours later, or minutes, time smeared. Michael found me, his limp more pronounced in the chill. He sat, heavy, offering a thermos of coffee from the corner bodega. They suspended me, pending investigation. Sterling spooked. Might pull out. Guilt gnawed deeper. I'm sorry, he sighed, steam curling from the lid. Part of it's on me. I dumped this shit on you without thinking. Pause then. But Alex, that was low, Chris. Even for us. Not a game, I insisted, voice muffled. I love him. Or, fell hard. Michael's laugh was hollow. Yeah? Well, welcome to the club of fucked up Harlans. Mom always said we felt too much. He bumped my shoulder, tentative olive branch. We'll fix the firm stuff, together. But him? That's your mess. Back at the brownstone, sleep evaded like a bad witness. I sketched by lamplight. Alex's face, not idealized, but fractured. Eyes shadowed with hurt, mouth twisted in that near smile I'd memorized. Dawn brought a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. My place. 8 p.m. A. Heart slamming. I showed up at his loft with nothing but honesty and a bottle of the scotch we'd shared that first rooftop night. He buzzed me up, door ajar. The space transformed, curtains drawn. A single lamp casting long shadows over the bed where we tangled. He stood by the window, back to me, city lights painting him in gold and regret. You came, he said, not turning. Had to. I set the bottle down, hands empty. Alex, save it. He whirled, face a storm front. I spent all night digging. Your sketches on your portfolio site, urban grit, raw emotion. Not Michael's polished bullshit. You're good, Christopher. Real. The praise twisted the knife. But that doesn't erase the lie. I know. I stepped closer, close enough to see the stubble shadowing his jaw, the way his fists clenched at his sides. It was never about tricking you. The merger, the firm, that was survival. But us? That was the first time I breathed. He searched my face, the twin mask stripped bare, and something shifted, anger yielding to ache. You have his face, his voice. But when you laughed last week, watching that stupid cat video, that wasn't him. That was you. His hand lifted, hesitant, cupping my cheek. And it terrified me, because I was falling for the wrong Harlan. Tears stung. Then fall for the right one. The kiss was tentative, a question. Then yes, fierce, forgiving. His hands fisting my shirt as we stumbled to the couch, mouths hungry for truth. It wasn't gentle. It was reclamation, bites and gasps amid confessions. I hate you for this, he murmured against my throat, even as his body arched into mine. But God, I need you. We shattered together, aftershocks rippling as reality crept back. Curled against him, sweat slick and spent, I traced the line of his collarbone. What now? The firm. Fuck the firm. He propped on an elbow, eyes clear. I'll back you. Tell them it was my idea, some twin swap for coverage. Ethics be damned, we fight it. And Michael? A shadow crossed his face. He'll hate it. But blood's thicker? Nah, love's thicker. The weekend blurred into strategy sessions over takeout, Alex's legal mind weaving loopholes while I contributed sketches of escape routes, metaphorical ones, anyway. Michael arrived Sunday night, face thunderous, but when Alex laid it out, we're in this, all three. Something cracked in him too. You're both idiots, he grumbled. But there was a ghost of a smile. Fine. But if we get disbarred, you're both crashing on my couch. Monday's boardroom was Armageddon. Accusations flying, sterling reps on speakerphone threatening exodus. But Alex stood shoulder to shoulder with me, Christopher Harlan, named at last, articulating the swap as a desperate measure born of loyalty, not deceit. Michael backed it, limping testimony of brotherhood. The partners deliberated, hours ticking like a bomb. In the hallway, waiting, Alex's hand found mine, hidden in pocket shadows. Whatever happens, he whispered. We walk out together. The verdict, probation for Michael, a slap-on-wrist warning for me. Consultant status, no client contact, and the merger salvaged by sheer force of Alex's charisma. Harlan and associates survived, scarred but standing. Winter clamped down on the city like a vice, snow blanketing the brownstones in reluctant truce. But inside our lives, the fractures lingered. Michael threw himself into PT. Kane traded for a limp that faded week by week, while I navigated the firm's side-eye as the twin imposter. Sketching case timelines in the margins of depositions, Alex slipped me under the table. We weren't partners, not officially, but the loft became our unofficial headquarters. Weekends melting into mornings where I'd wake to his coffee and crosswords, his foot nudging mine under the duvet. You're cheating? I'd accuse, peering at his half-solved puzzle, and he'd pull me close, murmuring clues against my skin. 5 letters, starts with L. Love. It was easy, then too easy, like the calm before a nor'easter. But ease breeds complacency, and complacency invites ghosts. The first specter arrived in February. A manila envelope slid under the loft door. Photos. Grainy shots of Alex and me in the park, hands linked. A blurry one from the rooftop lounge, his lips on my neck. No note, but the implication screamed blackmail. Alex's face drained when I showed him. Sterling fallout, he muttered, pacing the exposed beams. Someone from the merger team, holding a grudge. We burned them in the sink, flames licking up the evidence. But the chill settled deeper. It's over, he insisted, pulling me to bed, bodies a bulwark against fear. But sleep came fitful, dreams of boardrooms turning inquisitions. Michael's voice echoing. You crossed a line. Spring thawed the streets, cherry blossoms rioting along the high line like defiant flags, and with it came the second blow. Michael's promotion. Associate to full partner. He announced over beers at our old haunt in the village, grin wide but eyes wary. They say it's merit. I say it's pity. We toasted, 3 glasses clinking, fragile alliance. But later, alone with Alex, doubt crept in. He's gunning for your spot, I admitted, tracing patterns on his chest. Rivers and Harlan, the dream team? Now it's just complicated. Alex chuckled. Dark. Jealousy's a bitch. But Michael's not the shark anymore. You are. He kissed my temple, but the words lingered, a seed of unease. By May, the firm buzzed with merger success. Bonuses flowed like the East River at flood tide, and Harlan and Associates threw a gala at the Rainbow Room. Chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. I wasn't invited. Consultant, remember? But Alex snuck me in through the service entrance. Tuxedo borrowed from Michael's closet. The irony bitter as bile. My date, he whispered. Hand possessive on my lower back as we navigated the crowd. Jazz horns wailing over clinking champagne flutes. Michael spotted us first, across the ballroom, his new cufflinks glinting like accusations. He approached, smile pasted on, but his grip on my arm was iron. Chris, bold move, to Alex. You always did like living dangerously. The barb landed, and Alex stiffened. Says the guy who sicked his twin on my caseload. Michael's laugh was sharp. Hey, it worked out. Merger closed, you're golden. But don't forget, blood trumps everything. His eyes flicked to me, loaded. Always has. The night frayed from there. Whispers followed us. That's the faker. Sleeping his way to relevance. A tipsy paralegal cornered Alex by the bar. Rivers, you slumming with the imposter now? Careful. He'll steal your identity next. Alex shut it down, voice like cracked ice, but the damage seeped. We escaped to the balcony. City sprawl, a glittering apology below. Ignore them, he said, lighting a rare cigarette. smoke curling like question marks. This is us. But as his phone buzzed, text from Michael, urgent, we need to talk. Now. I saw the fracture lines deepen. Go, I urged. Family first. He hesitated, then kissed me hard, tasting of smoke and sorrow. Be here when I get back. My stomach plummeted. Confessed what? That he sent the photos. Alex's voice broke, raw. Not for money, for us. Said he saw how I looked at you, the real you, and it killed him. That twin bond? He couldn't share it. Not with me stealing his place in your heart. Betrayal hit like a gut punch. Michael, my anchor, my mirror, weaponizing our connection to sabotage the one pure thing I'd found. Why? Jealousy. Pure, ugly. He thought if he drove a wedge, you'd come back to him. To the family unit. Alex's eyes met mine, haunted. I confronted him, told him to back off or I'd expose it all. He broke down. Said he's sorry, but Chris, he's drowning. The limp's not just physical. The accident cracked something in him. Rage warred with pity. The Harlan curse. Love too fierce, boundaries too blurred. I stormed the brownstone that morning, pounding on the door until Michael yanked it open. Eyes red-rimmed, shirt untucked. You bastard! I snarled, shoving inside. The photos? That was you. He didn't deny it, slumping against the wall. I saw you too. Happy. Real. And it gutted me. We're supposed to be each other, Chris. Not this split in two. You're not me. I yelled, voice echoing off the peeling wallpaper. You never were. I did this for you, and you repay it with sabotage. Tears tracked his face, mirroring mine. I'm losing you. To him. To this life I built that you hijacked and made better. He reached for me, plea in his posture. Come back. We can fix it. Twins against the world. The offer hung, seductive in its familiarity. But I saw it clear. Michael's love was possession, a cage gilded with blood ties. Alex's was freedom, terrifying and true. No, I said, soft but steel. I'm done pretending. For you, for anyone. I left him there, door clicking shut on our shared history, and ran to Alex, to me. We met at the High Line, tourists milling oblivious, his arms enveloping as the sun crested. It's over, I gasped. With him. With the lies. He held tighter. Then start fresh. With me. Summer scorched in, humid and unyielding, but we thrived in the heat. I quit the firm shadows, diving headfirst into my art. Solo exhibit at a Soho gallery. Urban twins in charcoal and oil, duality and division raw on canvas. Alex came to the opening, suit traded for jeans, pride beaming as collectors murmured approval. Michael sent a card, proud. Sorry. Doors open. No response needed. Healing wasn't linear. Yet the high tide recedes and autumn brought the squall. October gale warnings and with them news. Michael's relapse. Not physical, a breakdown, spiraling into bourbon and isolation. The accident's trauma unearthed in therapy he finally chased. The call came at midnight. His voice slurred over the line. Chris? Can't. It's too much. I went. Alex drove, silent sentinel, dropping me at the brownstone. Michael was a wreck. Floor littered with sketches I'd left behind. His own clumsy attempts at art amid the bottles. You were right, he mumbled, hugging his knees. I'm not the shark. Just scared. We talked till dawn. Not as twins fused, but brothers fractured and mending. Get help? I urged, booking him into rehab myself. For real this time. He nodded, grip on my hand fierce. And you? Him. I smiled, real. Yeah, me. The climax crested that Halloween, firm costume party at a warehouse in Dumbo. Zombies and superheroes amid exposed brick and base stumps. Alex and I went as mismatched ghosts, sheets billowing, anonymity a thrill. But midway, Michael appeared. Uninvited, uncostumed, face gaunt but determined. I need to say it, he announced, pulling us into a shadowed corner, voices rising over the din. I was wrong. The jealousy, the photos, vile. But seeing you two, it showed me what I lack. Courage. He extended a hand to Alex, tentative. No hard feelings? Alex clasped it, firm. Water under the bridge. But hurt him again? Bridge burns. Michael laughed, genuine, then hugged me, loose, Equal. Go haunt the night. I've got my own ghosts to chase. We did, dancing till sweat-soaked, his hand in mine, a vow amid the revelry. Later, in the loft, bodies entwined, he whispered against my skin. This is real. You're real. November's chill nipped at the edges of gratitude, frost etching the loft windows like lace invitations to introspection. The city slowed, Thanksgiving prep turning brownstones into ovens of turkey and tension. But for us, it was a reset. Alex's family in Connecticut, a sprawling Victorian where his Bible Belt parents had thawed into awkward acceptance. His mom pressing pie into my hands, Dad grunting approval over football. Harlan, huh? He'd said, clapping my shoulder. Heard you caused a stir. Good on ya. Shaking things up. Back in the city, December draped Manhattan in tinsel and temptation. Holiday lights winking like conspirators. My exhibit sold out, canvases of fractured twins fetching prices that let me breathe. Rent paid, dreams funded. Alex proposed a road trip. Escape the frenzy. Drive to the Cape. Hole up in a lighthouse keeper's cottage. I said yes, packing sketch pads and scarves. The scar on my knuckle a faded reminder. The drive was therapy on wheels. I-95 unspooling under gray skies, his hand on my thigh as indie playlists crooned. We talked everything, futures, fears. Kids? He mused, glancing over. Adopt, maybe. Teach 'em to climb rocks and draw storms. I laughed, heart full. And law? You'd make a hell of a dad attorney. He squeezed. With you? Yeah. The cottage was salt-worn romance. Clapboard creaking against Atlantic gales. Fireplace roaring as waves crashed symphony. Nights blurred into starlit walks on pebbled beaches. His coat around my shoulders. Kisses tasting of cider and salt. One evening, fog rolling in like a shroud, he dropped to one knee on the dunes. Not ring, but a simple silver band etched with twin scars. Marry me, Christopher. Not the fake, the feeler. The man who stole my heart pretending, then kept it true. Tears blurred the horizon. Yes, God, yes. Winter deepened. Engagements whispered in firm hallways where Michael, back as junior partner, steady now, winked conspiratorially. Told you love's thicker. Therapy had sculpted him. Leaner, wiser, dating a barista with laugh lines and no pretensions. Our twinship evolved, not fused, but paralleled. Holidays shared in neutral turf. Mom's old diner. Now ours, toasts to ghosts laid rest. But humanity's arc bends toward light through shadow, and ours crested in spring's renewal. April showers birthed the wedding. Small, Brooklyn backyard affair under dogwoods. Officiant a drag queen friend of Alex's with vows that slayed. In sickness, health, and the occasional identity crisis. Michael stood best man, speech a masterclass in redemption. Twins teach us mirrors lie. It's the reflections we choose that define us. Guests, firm allies, art world eccentrics. Cheered as we kissed, confetti swirling like liberated secrets. The reception spilled into night, jazz quartet under string lights, Alex's hand never leaving mine. Later, slow dancing in the grass, he murmured. Fell for the wrong Harlan once. Lucky me. Got the right one free. I pulled him closer. Fake twin, real forever. Years folded like well-worn pages. The firm thrived, Alex partner by 35, me adjunct professor at Pratt, teaching urban portraiture to wide-eyed undergrads. Michael married his barista in a courthouse whirl. Twins as co-best men. Our scars now stories over whiskey. We built a life in a Harlem brownstone. Exposed brick nods to Alex's loft, skylights for my sketches. Adopting Theo at 3. A whirlwind with Alex's eyes and my quiet intensity. Bedtime tales blended law fables with art myths. His tiny hand in ours a bridge across divides. Yet the heart's narrative whispers of impermanence. And in our 50th year, gray threading temples, lines etching laughs, a quiet storm brewed. Michael, ever the fighter, faced cancer. Pancreatic, aggressive, the thief in the night. We rallied chemo drives, twin vigils in sterile rooms where he'd crack jokes till morphine dulled them. Don't let it change us, he'd rasp, gripping our hands. Promise. We didn't. Alex litigated pro bono for hospice reforms. I sketched his portraits, capturing the shark softened by time. In the end, under a harvest moon, He slipped away in the brownstone. Our brownstone. Flanked by us, Theo's small voice reading a bedtime story from his chair. Love you both. His last whisper, then peace. Grief hollowed, but didn't hollow out. We mourned with Theo by the Hudson, scattering ashes where city met sea, Michael's laugh echoing in the wind. He was the brave one, I said, arm around Alex, our band worn smooth. Nah, Alex replied, kissing my temple. We all were, faking it till we made it real. Humanity, in its raw weave, redeems through rupture. We scarred, loved, twins in spirit if not blood, emerged not unbroken, but beautifully bent. In the law of lives, some cases close with verdicts of joy, others with echoes of loss. Ours? A hung jury, forever deliberating the exquisite ache of feeling deeply, loving truly, and in that ambiguity, grace. Theo grew, sketching his own storms, asking one dusk, Dad Chris, was Uncle Mike like you? I smiled, watching Alex chase him through the yard. Close enough, but different endings, same heart. Real feelings, after all, don't pretend. They persist.